Hello, everybody, and happy Monday. Today's November 27th, and we all, at least here in the United States, all of you that celebrated Thanksgiving, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And for those who did not celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Hello, Mary, and happy 60th wedding anniversary. That is truly an accomplishment. And what a wonderful example for the rest of us. I wish both you and your husband a wonderful year with many, many more to come. So today we are going to make a pop-out fun fold card. And when you first look at it, it might be a little bit intimidating, but I'm going to show you a really easy way to do it. I've made you a template that you can download, and I'm going to show that to you in just a minute. So, and I'm actually using one of the stamp sets and dies that is going to retire in another month, which kind of makes me sad because it's one of my favorites. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you enjoyed today's video and we'll come back. And if you're joining me live or catching me on the replay, thank you for joining me and helping support my channel. So let's flip this over and let's get started. Okay, so today we are going to use, I'm going to focus on using a piece of paper from the Winter Meadow Designer Series paper. This paper actually goes along with the Magical Meadow bundle that's retiring, but this paper is in stock. It was gone for a while and it's back in stock. So because it is on the retiring list, you may want to grab it if you like it. The piece of paper that we're going to use today is this one, and you can see I cut a strip off already. It's this one that has these beautiful designs, and we're going to take advantage of that in making our pop-up. Hi, Maria, and thank you for joining me. So I am going to bring in here what we're using. I am using only one stamp from the Magical Meadow, and it's this Holly Berry. And then I am using, because I wanted it to be a Christmas, more Christmassy greetings, I'm using the Brightest Glow Cling Stamp Set. So I'm using 3 different greetings from here. Let your heart be light, 'tis the season, and hoping your Christmas shines bright. And you'll see how we're going to use that. And then from the Magical Meadow dies, the only die I'm going to use is this one that embosses snowflakes. So we're going to leave that out, and we're going to get started. So I do have a downloadable template for you, and you probably be able to see it better if, let's see if that's better for you. No, I think we're going to leave the extra light on. So this is downloadable, and it tells you exactly what to do. So we are going to do it together, piece by piece, in cutting this, and then we're going to go from there. So I have a piece of 4 1/4 by 11. It's a half piece of 8 1/2 by 11 cardstock. Now we only need 9 3/4 by 4 1/2. So we are going to bring in our cutter, and we're going to open up our arm here, and we're going to cut it to size. So you can see I already have 4 1/4. And now we're going to go to 9 3/4, and we're going to go right, hopefully you can see that, right here. All right, so this is our card base. Now when we're all said and done, this card does fit in a standard envelope. So not to worry. All right, so next we are going to turn our card base around, and this is going to be the bottom, and we are going to go 1 1/2 inches. Now stick with me because this isn't hard. It may look it, but it isn't. So 1.5 inches up from the card, bottom of the card. And I want to make sure that's where I'm at. All right, so we're at 1.5. Now we're going to cut a slit in this card base that goes at the 3-inch mark. So you're going, well, how can I tell it's 3 inches? Well, you have this ruler. I'm going to tip this up for you to see with all of the markings on it. So I'm going to actually move my cutting blade right to the 3-inch mark here. Okay. And we're going to cut from 3 inches all the way down to 7.5. And we're going to stop there. That's all the cutting we're going to do. I'm going to move this blade out of the way. So you now have the pop-up part of your card. Now we need to put some score lines into it. So with that said, we are going to score, and I'm going to flip this around. At the 3-inch mark, we are going to score down to that cut line. So let's score down. Perfect. Now we're going to move over to 5.5 or 5.25. And we're going to score all the way down. 5.25. Okay, let's do that. Okay, now we're going to go over to the 7.5 inches, and we're only going to score from that line, the cut line. Let's make sure I stayed at 7.5. Yep. So we're going to score from that cut line on down. So I'm going to bring mine up. And that looks good. So let's get this out of the way. So exactly what's on our template is what we just did. So now we're going to go ahead and fold this. Now, the tricky part is to start with this. We're going to fold this forward. So that's kind of how we're going to do this. So this is going to pop out. All right. So now we're going to score this, pop this out, and push it right on over to the edge. So did you see that? Let's do it again. We're going to bring this forward and pop it right out to the edge. And we're going to score, burnish this. So here's our bone folder. I'm going to burnish this one. I'm going to flip it over and burnish this one. So here's your pop out fun fold. Now I know you can't see much of it there, but this is how it will sit for you. And this is the part that pops out. This is the front of your card, and I'm going to show you a couple things you can do with this. Now, as we go ahead and do this card, lots of other different ways you can do it. I chose to use my designer series paper to do a lot of the work for me. But because I'm going to use this, I chose to use the Moody Mauve as a background. So what I've done is I've cut my background pieces that you're going to see fit all in here, and I'm going to have all those measurements for you. But here, whoops, let's get our white out of there for now. So I've cut these in here. This is going to go like this, and then pieces like this. Okay. Now, there's a couple different things you can do with this once these are glued down. You could cut all white to mount on these, and you could stamp everything. I chose to really kind of focus on the designer series paper, and we're going to stamp here and here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So I'm going to bring this in and we're going to bring our cutting paper back in. And I'm going to move this off to the side so I don't damage it. All right, so I need to, this is a piece, this is my largest piece. And this panel is 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. So I want to get cut a piece of designer series paper that's 2.5 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a 2.5-inch strip all the way down. And we're going to use almost this whole piece for our card. Okay, I want this biggest part on my front piece. So I am going to go ahead and cut this at 3 3/4. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. So this is going to mat on this Moody Mauve, and you're just going to have like 1/8 of an inch around, and that's going to be our front panel. Now I need for the back panel. So the back panel or the right panel is 1 7/8 by 3 7/8. So I'm going to cut a piece that's 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. I'm still going to use this. What I'm going to do is cut my 3 3/4. So let's cut that. And now I'm going to trim it down to the 1 7/8. And you can decide which part of this you want to use. I want to use the part with the Moody Mauve and get some of the berries. So I'm going to flip it around, take it to 1 7/8. And we're going to cut that. So this is our back panel. So we've got that done. Now, the 2 small panels on the bottom that kind of come out, I'm going to go ahead and use this. So what I need for those is this is 1 7/8 by 1 1/8. I'm going to go ahead and cut this to 1 3/4 by 1. So let's do that. So we're going to cut 1 inch thick and then trim it down to 1 3/4. And I'm going to trim it off the white edge. Okay, so that's going to be one of our little panels. And then the second panel, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to cut 1 inch by 1 3/4. I'm going to flip it around so I get those blue ferns in there. And we are done cutting. So that one strip of designer series paper we were able to use to cut all of our pieces. So now let's put this together. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere this to the Moody Mauve. Now I'm showing you where I'm using designer series paper. You could easily cut a piece of white cardstock and stamp an image on it, stamp your greeting, and do this, and that would do the same thing. So let's go ahead and we're going to adhere this to the front. So stay with me to the end because I think you're going to be surprised as to how really beautiful this does turn out. And we're going to go ahead here and you want to make sure you have about an even edge. Remember this front panel about all the way around. So both sides, top and bottom. All right. Now I'm going to move over to the bottom here and I'm going to show you why. I want to be able to line these up. I want these to be even all the way across. So let's go ahead and we're going to adhere this little piece on here. And if you have questions, just kind of put them in the comments or chat, and I will try to peek up and answer them. So let's go ahead and adhere this. You know, when you first look at this card, it does look a little intimidating, but it's really so easy, especially using that template, that it's a fun card to make, and there's so much you can do with it. So let's adhere this down, and I'm going to do the same with the next little piece. Yeah. Let's see what I did with my Moody Mauve, that second piece. Well, it'll show up. Let's go ahead and we're going to adhere this. And I guess if it doesn't, we'll just have to cut another piece. Oh, it fell. So we're here. So let's go ahead and adhere this. And this, I did not cut. I need to trim a little bit off of that. Don't think I cut it quite as well as I wanted to. So that needed to be 1 3/4. I didn't. So it's a good thing I didn't get any glue on that side yet. Let's add a little bit of glue. And we're going to go ahead and add this. So, and again, just trying to get your edges pretty even all the way around. All right, and then this one, we're going to go ahead and add this, and we'll be able to be done with our designer series paper. And then we're going to stamp just a couple greetings and add those at the top. Okay. Hi, Becky, and hi, Pat. Thank you for joining me. So let's add this. Again, I'm making sure I line these up as best I can across the bottom here. And bring that up just a little bit. And now we're going to add this one on the back panel, or the right panel. In my directions, I will label these left panel, right panel, the bottom center, and the top center, so that you know exactly where things go. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Now next, right here, I have my Moody Mauve, and I have a piece of basic white. And I'm going to stamp on this. And for this, I want to stamp, Let Your Heart Be Light. And I'm going to use Misty Moonlight for all my greetings. So let's go ahead and stamp this. And let's pop this out of the way while we do it. All right. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that right on here. And I put it up and to the side a little bit, and you're going to see why. I want to stamp these winter berries. And I'm going to color them with my Stampin' Write markers. You could stamp them all one color, but I wanted to pull in some of the shaded spruce from the designer series paper along with the Moody Mauve. So I'm going to just go ahead and color these pretty quickly here. And you can see when I'm coloring them, I'm using the side of my brush tip on my Stampin' Write markers. I just want to use that brush tip, because if you use the point, you're going to ruin the tip and flatten your markers out. So, all right, there's that. And now I'm going to use the brush tip for the berries, and we're just going to color these in. Now, this is a pretty distinctive stamp. When we stamp the berries, you'll see that. And when I was coloring it yesterday, I thought gee, I think I smeared some of the green, but I didn't. What it is the distinctiveness of that stamped image. As you color, there's some areas that are darker and some areas that are lighter. So there's that. And I see that I forgot to color part of this leaf here. So let's do that. Okay, when you use these, you then have to huff on it. And I'm going to stamp this off here on the corner. So I'm only going to get part of the image. But look at that. Isn't that pretty? And it adds something, some color back into this panel that we're going to attach now. So we're going to go ahead and attach this to that Moody Mauve. Okay. And we're going to pop this on here. And now when I'm popping this on, I want to keep my tops of my panels lined up. Now on this second panel here, I want to stamp another greeting, and that greeting says, hoping your Christmas shines bright with the love of family and friends. So let's just ink this up. And this just fits on here. It just makes it. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up so it's straight, because you all know I don't do anything straight. And we're going to pop this up right in here. Okay, and now we're going to attach this to this panel. And it leaves you just a little bit of room to sign your card, but I'm going to show you a trick if you want to write more. So let's put this in here. And now we're going to attach this here. And all we have left to do is our front sentiment. All right. So again, oops, right side up. I'm going to line up my panels so that they're straight, and also so that they're even with my bottom. And we have. So here's the inside of our card. Now for the outside, all we need to do is stamp a greeting. Now I used the nested essential dies. You can cut a square, you can use a circle. I cut this, and all I'm going to do on this is stamp "'Tis the Season." Again, I'm going to use Moody Mauve. Oh, I'm sorry, Misty Moonlight. Ah, that's a little bit crooked, but we'll go with it. And here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to add some, a little bit of texture to this, and run that through with the dies. So I'm using my mini. So I'm using plate number 1 and 2 of the number 2 plates. And I'm just going to lay that on here and cover it with this die cut. Now that it isn't actually going to cut through the paper, it's simply going to like emboss those snowflakes onto that sentiment. Okay, and let me show you that. So here's how it turned out. Can you see the snowflakes embossed into the sentiment? So we're going to pop this up on the front of our card with some dimensionals. And I'm just going to grab a few minis here. Now, what I wanted to tell you why I made this card. I'm part of a group that does a Fun Fold blog hop once a month, and it's Stampin' Up! Demonstrators. that love to make fun folds. And we do the fourth Tuesday of every month. And I made this card for that blog hop, but I loved it so much. I thought how fun it would be to share it on my live card class. So the measurements and the downloadable PDF, everything for this fun fold will be available starting at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, because that's when the hop goes live. It's all ready for you. And again, you'll be able to download that template and all the measurements. So I just want to tie a bow, and I have glue all over my hands, so it's making it a little difficult, so that we can put that onto our card. So let me try grabbing this again. There we go. And I'm just going to work my bow so it's a little bit smaller. So that's how I came to make this fun fold. So if you go to my blog tomorrow, you will see a list where there are, I believe, 8 or 9 others that have done totally different fun folds. And you'll see from demonstrators all around the world. So let's cut this here. And I'm just going to tighten it up a little bit. And we're gonna, I'm gonna make it just a tiny bit smaller because the front of that card is a little smaller. And let's take a mini glue dot, and I'm just gonna stick it right on here, and we're gonna trim that down again. And I'm gonna trim this down a little bit. Let's go this way. All right, now the last thing I want to do is I'm going to pull in my festive pearls, and I'm going to use a silver one. And we're just going to add one right here in the corner of our greeting or sentiment. Let's move this all out of the way. So here's our fun fold. Now, I do want to show you, this does fit in a standard envelope. And I even brought one out here to show you. It's right here. So here's an envelope. It folds up like this, and you can simply slide it right in and send it on its way. So great fun fold, stands up, looks great on a mantle. So let me bring you back to me. I hope you enjoyed today's pop-out fun fold. I enjoyed doing it for you. It's a card that I saw Jackie Bolheis do a long time ago, and I did it and haven't done it for a while, so wanted to share that with you. If you liked today's video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. It helps me grow my channel, and I look forward to being back with you on Thursday evening at 6 p.m. Now remember, this blog post with the downloadable PDF will go live at 7 a.m. in the morning. So thank you, everybody. Have a great night, and I'll see you on Thursday.